This is the KMAX Sports Network.
From Cedar Park, Texas, live, it's Timberwolf Night in America. An hour and a half of nonstop honking of the Cedar Park football horn. Our sixth show of the season, our sixth season of the show. 74th show overall since we started this back in 2011. I'm the so-called V of the T, voice of the Timberwolves, Brad Cohn. We are live tonight from Mouton Southern Bistro near the intersection of Cypress Creek Road and La Colline, just behind the Sonic, kind of across the parking lot from the Sprouts. We'll be here until 9 o'clock if you want to come on down. Joining me, as has become customary here on Timberwolf Night in America, the king of laces out, the donut hole. He's better than finger-looking good at what he does. My own personal Chris Collinsworth, lifetime Timberwolf, Josh Willett.
Hey. How's it going, everybody? It's good to be back. Ready to talk about this unreal Timberwolf victory that they had last week and just rolling through this district. And we got some good food. It looks like Mr. Weems took my advice on Facebook and went with the chicken fried steak.
I had the red beans and rice.
Ooh.
Excelente.
Excellent.
All right, Josh is also handling the technical production for this show, twirling the knobs and the levers that light up the engines and keeping our orbit from decaying and burning ourselves up in the atmosphere. And the great Les Clary is our quality assurance agent tonight, monitoring the broadcast from the high-tech KMAX studios, making sure we don't sound like a bulldozer tearing down a bridge. It is October 9th, and that's John Lennon's birthday.
Hey,
what do you know? I was a Beatles aficionado as a youth, and that's how I know that. John would have been 78 today, and good God, he's been dead now almost as long as he was alive. Our special guests tonight, the quarterbacks. With us tonight are Timberwolves' Ryan Fiala, Ryder Hernandez, and with them, quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator Nick Rogers. Will be talking with all of them a little bit later in the show. Okay, here's our table of contents for tonight. A review of the Connolly game. We'll check out the scores of interest in 11-5A and around Central Texas. Blue Chipper Blues, our third installment, looking at how some top players have done against Cedar Park throughout the years. Hint, it's not very good.
Ooh.
Josh's segment, The Wonderful World of Willard. Conversation with the Cedar Park quarterbacks and their coach, a fun trivia game with the guys, and a look ahead at this week's game with Georgetown. Josh, Friday night, offense really got unlimbered. We've seen it getting better and better every week. 48 points is the highest total the team scored in 13 games. 7 offensive touchdowns, also the most in 13 games. 4 rushing touchdowns, doubles the number of touchdown runs on the season, and all from short range, something we've been looking for as well. On the other side of the ball, another dominating performance by the Black Rain. Only 6 yards rushing allowed and 6 sacks. This is a far better team right now than the one we started the season with. I'll ask the same question everybody's asking about Texas. Is Cedar Park back?
They're back, baby! No, Cedar Park definitely back, and they came and played a great offensive game, and then defensively too. Ben Bell had an unbelievable game on the D-line, and just getting in the backfield and not letting anything get by him. They had a lot of athleticism on that Connolly offense, and so for Cedar Park to handle them that well on the defensive side of the ball was awesome. But then offensively, to see these guys get down in the red zone and punch it in with those young running backs, that felt so good and just reassuring that the coaches are going to keep working that rushing game. We know the passing game is really good right now. We know we have a lot of options and threats to really stretch the defense deep. But the fact that we were able to punch it in with Haverda, and then I think did Carson Neal get in?
Haverda got 2, and Stockwell got 2.
Stockwell got 2, and that's what you want. You want our big running backs to get in the zone. So it was good to get them some love and just an overall great performance.
All right, before we get into the in-depth review of the action against Connolly, let's pause for a moment and look at some aspects of the state of the program. As of this latest win, Cedar Park football's all-time record is now 174 wins and just 66 losses. The all-time record in district games, 92-30, with a current 28-game district winning streak that reaches all the way back to 2014. The all-time record away from home is now 94-40. Connolly is one of 44 programs against which Cedar Park has a winning record all time. Carl Absek's career head coaching record now 43-5, and that .895 winning percentage remains the best ever in Texas high school football.
I'm just saying, Coach Absek's coaching record looks a lot like my Madden record. Just anybody wants to get at it, just.
You know what it looks a lot like? I saw Urban Meyer's head coaching record at Ohio State, and he's like 1 percentage point better than Urban Meyer's record at Ohio State, and that's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Nothing gets by him.
All right, review of the Connolly game. The Connolly Cougars had come close to upsetting Cedar Park last year, the final being only 21-14. That wasn't about to happen this year. This looked like what we've seen from Cedar Park all through this last decade. Connolly's first 3 possessions got 1 first down and moved a net of -3 yards. Cedar Park's first possession went over on downs at their own 43, but the next 3 were lightning-quick possessions, and they were all touchdown drives. The first touchdown came at the end of a 13-play, 60-yard drive from a form of a 3-yard run by Majestin Havrda. Justin Boer's kick made it 7-0 with 4:04 left in the first. Less than 3 minutes later, Ryder in the Storm capped off a 4-play, 50-yard thrust with a 29-yard scoring strike to Carson Neal. Kick made it 14-0, and Cedar Park had reached the unmentionable stat less than 11 minutes into the game. Just 2 minutes later, Cougars botched a punt attempt. Hernandez hit Brandon Breed with a 27-yard toss to push the score to 21-0. The Timberwolves put up 3 touchdown drives in the span of 4:54 on the game clock. The Cougars finally got some movement in the second quarter, but their drive stalled after 34 yards, and they punted. But the T-Wolves couldn't convert a 4th down play at their own 44, and Connolly took it into the end zone 5 plays later on a 17-yard run by Demetrius Gardner. That was his only good run of the night. They bonked the extra point off the upright, and it was 21-6, and after a few exchanges of punts to round out the quarter, that's where it stood at halftime. The Black Rain started the third with a 3-and-out that ended up being a 4-and-out on another botched punt play. The offense then put up 4 straight touchdown drives, their longest such streak of the season. In between, the Black Rain inflicted 3 punts on Connolly, 2 of those Cougar possessions being 3-and-outs. The first touchdown of the second half came on a short 3-play drive of 19 yards on a 7-yard run by Jonathan Stockwell. 28-6, just 2:05 into the second half. The next one came on a 52-yard touchdown pass from Hernandez to Breed just 2 minutes and 13 seconds later. We didn't get the extra point kick away, and it was 34-0. The next touchdown came on a 9-play, 55-yard drive on a 6-yard run by Havrda. 41-0, 2:05 left in the third. After a change of ends going into the fourth quarter, the final touchdown of the night was a 1-yard run by Stockwell as the second play of our shortest scoring drive of the season, just 9 yards. Boer's kick made it 48-6 with 11:21 left in the game. Cedar Park was about to score again when Ryan Fiala led the team on a 7-play, 52-yard drive to the 10, but a fumble at that point stopped it short of going 55-6. Connolly's only other score of the game came at the 7:31 mark of the fourth on a 1-yard pass from Darius McGrew to Bobby Hancock. They went for 2 but failed, and that gets us to the final of 48-12. Now, our audio highlights. We usually have an offensive and a defensive audio highlight. Tonight, they're both offense, and both of them tonight feature great throws by our 2 quarterback guests, and both of these passes went to Brandon Breed. Let me see if we can pull up the first one. Whoops, wrong place to go. I should have been a little more ready for this. All right, let me make sure we're going to have some sound. Here we go, and you may have to adjust the sound as we get going. So let me see what this one is. This is early in the second quarter on a 4th down play at the 27. Ryder Hernandez hits Breed in the back of the end zone for a tiptoe catch that immediately is in the running for our catch of the year, and here is that play.
4th and 15, the 27-yard line left hash, twins to either side. Back to throws Hernandez, looking left, rolling right, still looking left. Now down the middle into the end zone for Brandon Breed. The catch is made, but did he get a foot in bounds? Yes, he did! Brandon Breed hauled the biscuit into the basket.
Oh, my goodness, folks. We're going to have to go to the official replay to see if this toe tap was in bounds, and I'm telling you, Brandon Breed got on his horse to get behind this defensive back coverage, but you got to give credit to this big offensive line because the defensive pressure was coming, and I think it was the right tackle, Luke Williams, with the big-time block to really set the pocket for Ryder.
So there you go with our first audio highlight. Now our second one is in the fourth quarter. Fiala hits Breed. It's unfortunate Fiala didn't get credit for a big 35-yarder to John. They had a penalty that pulled that back, or he would have had another one too. This one, Fiala hits Breed on the left side for a 43-yard catch and run. Let's play that one.
And here it comes. 3rd and 24. Trips right, 2 left, 1 in motion now to the right. So this forks right. He looks that way, comes back, the screen to the next side is complete. Makes a man miss, the 20, the 15, they catch up with him at the 15. It was Brandon Breed. I was looking at another receiver, and it was Breed instead.
I was looking farther outside.
Showing the screen to the right, throwing the throwback screen to the left. It looked like it was going to be completely blown up, but great, smart running down the field by Brandon Breed.
And there's our 2 audio highlights of the night. And here's some of the stats from the game. Cedar Park 19 first downs, Connolly 18. You wouldn't think that 48-12 score, but the defense set us up with such great field position. We never had much distance to cover. That's the reason for the lesser offensive yardage than you would guess for the 48-point total. We had 27 rushes for 100 yards, a 3.7 average. They had 28 for 6, a .21 average. Through the air, the Timberwolves 16 of 32, 286, 8.94 yards per attempt. Conley 28 of 41 for 242, 68% completions, 5.9 yards per attempt. Total offense 386 to 248. You look at our running backs. Stockwell, a good night, 13 for 57 and 2 scores. Havarda with 8 for 37 and 2 scores, the leading rusher. Ryder went 13 of 27 for 216 and 3 touchdowns. Tammer went 1 for 1 on a 4th down completion to Cole Holland, 11 yards. Ryan went 2 for 4, and he hit the other 2 guys in the hands for 59 yards and would have had another completion. Could have gone 5 for 5, one for a penalty. Udoye, a catch for 13. Carson Neal, 4 for 50 and a 29-yard touchdown. Stockwell, 1 for 16. Holland, 1 for 11 on that 4th down play. Herb Street, 1 for 8. Brandon Breed, 3 for 172 and 2 touchdowns. Aiden Holly, 3 for 16. Thoughts?
I thought it was a great performance for the Timberwolves, but like you said, they were dealing with a lot of short fields because of how outstanding the defense was playing. So not a big stat game for the offense, but an overall great performance. Got another win, undefeated in district, and coming into a big week, you just want to keep riding that wave as much as you can. And the defense is playing lights out, though. You can't ask for more pressure that they're giving you. Hudson McGowan on the outside.
Oh, my
when
goodness.
he comes on when he's creeping up on the defensive line, you know that he's coming hot, and every single time he gets a piece of the quarterback or makes him hurry the progression or something and just gets that quarterback off the spot. So the defense is doing their job. Ryder, Ryan, Fiala, and the offensive company are just doing an outstanding job too. Just how much they've progressed as the season has gone on. And those first couple games in district, we're trying to figure things out, but had a lot of young guys in new positions, especially at that running back position. And now that seems to be working, and once again, not as many rushing yards, only 100 rushing yards, but they were crucial yards. They really punched it in for the offense and finished out drives with touchdowns
That's
instead of
important,
field goals. So
be able to score from in short on the ground is important for the playoffs.
absolutely. So
And Hudson McGowan, we've had a lot of baseball pitchers play football, but I've never seen a baseball pitcher be somebody who commits violent tackles like
Springs it.
He just swings around and throws him on the ground.
Yeah.
And one guy, he bounced a couple of times. Oh my gosh, the guy can bring the lumber.
yeah, that's intense. You like that from a pitcher,
You can do that to a baseball.
right?
All right, here's some interesting facts. Actually, here's some bits of tid. At the end of the first quarter, the net ball movement numbers were 116 to 10.
Oh,
Now, net ball movement's different than total offense. Total offense is just the yards you gain. Net ball movement is you might add a couple 15-yard penalties, so it's going to be 30-yard less. It's just where you start a possession, where you ended it, how many yards is that? You could have more net ball movement than you have total offense because penalties could be on the other team. So net ball movement at the end of the first quarter, 116 to 10. When the score was 21-0, it was 138 to -3. Wow. But we were outgained in the second quarter, 94-39. We had a great first and third quarter and kind of an average second and fourth quarter. The second play of their second possession of the third quarter was most definitely a backward pass that was dropped. Should have been ruled a fumble. This was confirmed on the film. Fourth quarter offensive yardage, total yards, 74 Cedar Park, 75 for Connolly. Kind of a weird situation there in those. All right, here's some interesting facts that when all combined together will tell you why we lost the first 2 games and won the first 4. Number 1, in the first 2 games, both losses, the defense gave up a total of 8 touchdowns. In the 4 wins since, they've given up only 6.
yeah. The defense is playing physical.
In the 2 losses, the defense averaged forcing 5 punts per game. In the 4 wins, 8. 8 punts a game.
Oh, that poor Connolly punter.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
He was chasing things all night long.
oh. He was single.
And how
he
did
was
he get
single at
that
the end
one
of that
away?
night if he wasn't already.
The one he chased into the end, how did he get that one away? There's like 3 guys right in front of it. Must have gone through between a head and a forearm or something.
That was brutal.
All right, in the 2 losses, the defense averaged giving up 213.5 rushing yards. In the 4 wins, just 84.5. In the 2 losses, the offense threw 3 INTs. 2 of them were pick sixes. In the 4 wins, only 2 INTs.
That's right.
None of them pick sixes. In the 2 losses, the offense averaged 2.5 touchdowns per game. In the 3 wins, they've averaged 5.
And that's what we're used to, baby.
In the 2 losses, the offense had 5 3-and-outs in each. In the 4 wins, only another 5 total.
Wow.
In the last 4 games, only 5 total 3-and-outs.
Finishing drives, and I'm not talking about little drives too. I mean, there are a lot of plays taking a lot of clock off, sustained drives, methodical. It's good football.
All right, here are my observations from updating the stats in the school record book. A couple of things I send in to Coach every weekend. Ryder Hernandez jumped from 11th to 8th on the list of most passing yards in a season.
God, a lot of football left.
He passed Drew Russo, remember him, and Roy Bracey. You don't remember him. He played at Appalachian State later in college.
Hey, you said it right.
There you go. On the list of career passing yardage for 9th, Ryan Fiala is 8th, 129 yards ahead of him. Ryder becomes the 10th Cedar Park player to complete 100 or more passes in his career. Only Max Sexton and Michael Cochran have thrown for more consecutive 100-yard-plus passing games than Hernandez's current streak of 6. Cochran threw 7 straight in 2007. Sexton threw 7 straight in 2015, and for 12 straight spanning 15 and 16.
You just go back and be Brian Hogan and Drew Russo and throw the ball 9 times a game.
And try to do
All right.
200 yards. Yeah.
It's different. It's different, all right? The game has changed, Rish. We got a CP alum in the house tonight. Nathan Rish, nasty defensive lineman on the Black Rain.
We remember that.
Huge shout-out.
He
That's
liked
what I'm talking
chasing
about. Yes,
guys like this
blessings,
down
blessings.
and planting them. Yeah, that's right.
Ugh.
All right, Haverty's 2 touchdown runs were the first 2 of his career. He becomes the 85th Cedar Park player to rush for a touchdown. Carson Neal ties Jack Grimm, the Grim Reaper, for 3rd on the list of career receptions with 49. Carson Neal jumps from 4th to 2nd on the list of most receiving yards in a season. We're just barely halfway through the season. Passing Bill Estevanot in 13 and Ethan Fry in 12. Only Tommy Levine in 15 is ahead of him now. I've discovered a miscount on my part during a past season, and that means that last week, and we didn't realize it, Carson Neal set a new record for most touchdown catches in a career. He has passed Tommy Levine. He now has 16.
Good company to pass.
Brandon Breed climbs from 17th to 12th in one game on the list of career receptions, tying Sam Brock with 39. Remember Sam Brock?
That's a
a great name for the pass.
That's a good Cedar Park. Stretch the defense deep, baby.
Breed climbs from 15th to 12th on the list of most career receiving yards, passing Chris Shedler, Jamie Knight, Michael Darby, and Hayden Craig.
Jamie Knight.
Jamie Knight.
Oh, he had the game winner against
Pflugerville
at
the
the
walk-off
Bible
touchdown catch.
Oh,
That was cool.
oh.
Hope we can find that in the old archives before that game. All right, Breed's career average per catch figure of 19.62 yards is 5th behind only Michael Darby, Travis Smith, Davis Fiala, and Sam Brock.
Wow.
Breed's 172 receiving yards against Connolly are the 4th most ever in one game at Cedar Park. Now, Breed and Neal have 3 of the top 4 figures in this category in the last 5 games.
They're getting after it.
Gosh. The 286 passing yards are the 12th most in program history. And remember, we've played like 270 games. 12th most is pretty good. At this moment, only 6 previous Cedar Park teams passed for more yards than this 2018 team has. The fewest number of games any of those teams played is 13. We played 6.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
And I find it astounding that the 6 rushing yards allowed Connolly is only the program's 9th best effort ever in this category.
9th?
It's only the 9th best ever. We've had some good defenses over the years.
Oh.
All right, Connolly's 242 passing yards, though, were the 26th best ever against the Cedar Park defense.
Trash yards.
Yeah, most of them. Darius McGrew's 25 completions were the 4th most ever allowed by a Cedar Park defense. And the team extends a school record district winning streak to 27 games.
That's insane. 27 district games. That's just putting that work in.
And you know what? I
going
typed that.
to work every day.
I typed that wrong. That's a 28, actually.
Ooh.
I didn't update that one from last week.
Shout
28.
out my brother's football number.
Was he 28? Well, I thought he was in the 30s or something.
26 at Cedar Park, 28 at Baylor.
Number 1 in your heart.
Oh. Maybe not. Don't tell my girlfriend.
All right. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we return, our second installment of Blue Chipper Blues. Back in a flash with more Timberwolf Night in America.
Mouton Southern Bistro is the home of Timberwolf Night in America on Tuesday nights during the weeks of home games. They specialize in what they call Southern Diner cuisine. Their flavors are bold. They don't hold back on the seasoning. Their top seller is the chicken fried steak. They've also got pasta dishes, several variations of jambalaya, gourmet burgers served on Hawaiian sweet rolls, and gumbo, of course. You can also check out their Leander location on 183. That's Mouton Southern Bistro near the corner of Cypress Creek Road and Lakeline, just across the parking lot from Sprouts. Experience the difference at Toyota of Cedar Park, one of the Austin area's newest automobile dealerships. Their new vehicle department will always stock the newest Toyota models you need. The pre-owned vehicles they choose must each pass a rigorous inspection and be in tip-top shape before they make it to their lot or website for you to see. And if you're looking for budget-friendly Toyota certified used vehicles, they've got you covered. And you can rest easy knowing that the best new cars make the best used cars. That's Toyota of Cedar Park at toyotaofcedarpark.com. Jeff Dietz Allstate offices are at 401 East Whitestone. That's on 1431 across the street from the Cedar Park Post Office. And he can get you into the right insurance coverage, ranging over many of the most important aspects of your life: auto, home, condo, motorcycle, ATV, boat, plus life insurance and business insurance. Call Allstate agent Jeff Dietz at 512-528-0099. You're in good hands with Jeff Dietz and Allstate. Army Ant Moving calls Cedar Park home for movers that residents and businesses can rely on for outstanding moving expertise and trustworthy estimates. Army Ant Moving stands above the rest. Their reputation speaks for itself. They've received the Angie's List Superior Service Award for the last 2 years. Their movers are highly trained and experienced. So whether you need to move your household to a new home across town or an entire corporate office to a new location, your valuables are in knowledgeable and reliable hands with Army Ant Moving Company. Check them out at armyantmoving.com. U.S. Money Reserve can help you plan for retirement. As retirement savers face uncertain and tumultuous times, the rising popularity of self-directed IRA comes as no surprise. Many are frustrated with the limited options, high fees, or portfolio performance of their current retirement accounts and looking elsewhere to maximize control of their financial future. If your long-term goal is creating lasting wealth in a safe, convenient, and tax-advantaged way, then retain command of your retirement with a self-directed IRA. This gives you ultimate flexibility when it comes to safeguarding your future by putting you in complete control of your asset mix. Self-directed IRAs also have the added benefit of greater profit potential because you can choose from a wider range of options. The gold standard Precious Metals IRA program from U.S. Money Reserve combines the traditional protection of gold and silver with the modern convenience of an IRA. A self-directed Precious Metals IRA should play a key role in shielding your savings, whether you're new to gold and silver ownership or already hold retirement accounts. Go to usmoneyreserve.com for more information.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Yeah. How.
Got a lot of nice girls out there.
All right, some ZZ Top here. Welcome back to Timberwolf Night in America live from the 613 in Moutons. Plenty of time left for you to come on down and sit with us if you'd like to. Josh and Brad and some Cedar Park Timberwolves. We just recapped the Conley game from last Friday night. An outstanding reality from my point of view, Josh, is that the Black Rain had as many sacks as they gave up rushing yards. 6. I'll bet you can count on one hand how many times in all football that those two stats in one game were represented by the same number.
This running back for the other team, too, was no joke. We get to go down on the field before every game, and I'm telling you, I get flashbacks and want to strap up again and go out there. But that running back for the other team, he looked legit. He looked as big as advertised, and Cedar Park defensive line just gives them no opportunity to go anywhere. The offensive line can't create any holes, but good Lord, the linebackers, too, all over the place. Noah Morales, Sebastian Duran, Hudson McGowan, Jackson Rogers, they're animals.
Most of the time, Gardner took the handoff and a hit at the same time.
Right. They're meeting the quarterback and running back at the mesh.
All right, we'd like to remind you about some guests coming up on various broadcasts. The first, at halftime of the Georgetown game Friday night at the GUP, one of the top women's basketball players in the history of Cedar Park High School, and now our marketing contact for a major sponsor. You just heard a commercial for him, Toyota of Cedar Park. After tearing up the hardwood for the Lady Timberwolves, she went to play collegiately first for 2 years at Concordia, right up the road here, then for 2 more at the University of Texas, Dallas, where in her senior year, they made the Sweet 16. I'm talking about a class of 11 confrere of Josh's, Maddie Hess, to those of us who know her well. Maddie will be joined on the broadcast at halftime by the boss herself, Julie Herrera, the dealer principal for Toyota of Cedar Park. You've seen her on all the television commercials in the booth during halftime against Georgetown this Friday night, October 12th at the GUP. And as a special guest here on Timberwolf Night in America, we'll be joined on October 16th. That's 1 week from tonight by a guy who's on the Brad Cohn all-time Timberwolf team on the D-line. Said before, my picks for our Hall of Fame defensive line are Tim Nickey, Jeff Peden, and this guy, Holmes Onwakafi. Holmes got a football scholarship at Florida State from Jimbo Fisher. Got a lot of playing time on special teams and at linebacker. Career was ended early in his senior season by an injury. He stayed in school, graduated. He's now back in the Austin area, very busy. Lots of irons in the fire, and we'll hear all about his journey. Holmes Onwakafi here on Timberwolf Night in America, October 16th. That's next week, and it's no coincidence that is the night we'll have on with us the current defensive line.
The Nigerian Nightmare.
The Nigerian Nightmare,
Yeah.
Holmes Onwakafi. And another programming note, Josh is going to be at the wedding of a best friend out of town Saturday. That means he's traveling Friday, and that means he won't be at the Georgetown game.
I'm a groomsman.
As he calls, we'll need a picture to see how well you clean up.
We'll see if I make it.
See, since he calls play-by-play for home games while I'm on the stadium mic, we found a pretty decent replacement. KMAX Sports owner and longtime Central Texas sportscaster Chuck Licata. Chuck will be joining the crew with us Friday night. Now, Josh,
that's okay, but just I want y'all to have me back.
oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
I know you got the
We're
owner
still-
coming, and that's
yeah,
cool.
That's right.
But I'm pretty
Chuck
good,
is
too.
listening tonight too, so we got to say, Chuck, we love you, but we do want Josh back.
And
on
I'm
the side.
going to the wedding of Sugar Shane Britton,
Sugar Shane.
center for the 2010. Sorry, my senior year.
Is Middleton going to that too?
Middleton will not be there.
Ah.
Dylan Jarvis, another defensive
Yeah?
back from the team.
Right.
Alex Jenkins, offensive
I'm
lineman.
sure he knows a lot of these names.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're rolling through. But yeah, so Sugar Shane getting married, getting hitched.
All right, Josh, I got a
Big mistake. I'm just kidding.
I've got a trivia question for you, you field goal holder you.
Oh, that's me.
What is the longest field goal ever kicked by a Timberwolf? Who kicked it? Who was it against? And then a reciprocation, what was the longest field goal ever kicked against Cedar Park? By whom and when was that?
Well, Cedar Park banged a 47-yarder through against Weslaco in the dome that I held.
That's right.
I remember that one.
I remember that.
Is that
it?
it?
In the Alamo Dome. No, that was the third longest.
Oh, no!
That's a good answer.
Was there one?
47 is
There was
tough.
one in that Georgetown game way, way, way back when with a really good Georgetown kicker, right?
You're hitting on it.
We hit a game winner, and then they hit the game winner.
It's close.
Is that right?
It's close. Here it is. Our longest kick ever, 53 yards, by a guy named Chris Price, into a 10-mile-an-hour wind, northbound.
Debatable.
On October 18th, 2002, 16 years ago, at Old Bible Stadium on homecoming night in our very first game ever against Georgetown.
Oh.
Chris was the son of my spotter that night, and it was really cool. I get to sit next to a guy whose son hits a 53-yarder into a stiff wind that would have gone from farther than that. School record that still stands. Kind of cool. Chris Price went on to a nice collegiate soccer career at North Carolina Wesleyan, right outside of Raleigh there.
I'm talking about my Tar Heels. Woo.
Now theirs, on the next possession of that same game, 3 minutes later, after the change of quarter, so also into the wind, that kick went 59 yards, would have gone from 65, and it was kicked by
Mason Crosby.
Mason Crosby, who until last Sunday had been the best kicker in the NFL for a decade.
Yeah, he missed five.
Missed five kicks for the Packers.
If you're going to miss 3, might as well just miss 5.
Yeah. So a 53-yarder by us into a win. I mean, the ribbons were just snapping at him, and he drills it for 53. Oh, my God! We turn around, the quarter changes, so they're going the same way. It's, after about maybe 2 first downs, they stall. That guy comes out for 59. What? And he kicks it even farther. That would have gone from 70, and it was into the wind. I couldn't believe either of those 2 kicks.
Yeah, unbelievable. But any Cedar Park record against Georgetown is awesome.
It is. That game ended up as a 10-3 Cedar Park win. So the win blow, it should have been 7-0, I guess. But yeah, first game ever against them. All right, now it's time for Blue Chipper Blues. Of the very best, the synopses we'll present here on Blue Chipper Blues include descriptions of the efforts of players who were at the time we played them among the top national recruits at wideout, at running back, and quarterback. Not that we don't think that all the numbers these players run up against their other opponents, all the press accolades, all the recruiter attention, all the amazing highlight footage is unjustified or untrue or anything like that. It's just that most of the time when we see such players go up against the Timberwolves, we don't really see very much. We started off this feature 2 weeks ago by looking at the entirely pedestrian numbers put up against Cedar Park in 2 games during the 2011 season by the current Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. Last week we looked at the completely forgettable 3.1 yard per carry average in 2 games against Cedar Park by eventual Heisman Trophy candidate and all Big 12 running back from Temple, Lake Seastrunk. Tonight we'll take a look at our third stud dud. He was a wide receiver at Austin High in the 2010 and 11 seasons. He was the national #1 wideout recruit, signed with Texas, transferred to Arizona, signed with the Eagles, now with the Minnesota Vikings. We're talking about Austin Maroons wide receiver Caleb Jones. Now, Caleb Jones had a chance to play 2 games against Cedar Park in his Austin High career. He chose to sit one of them out. The one played at House Park in 2010, his junior year, Josh's senior year.
That was a wise decision.
A wise
56
decision.
to nada. 56 to nada.
And I have it on good authority, another receiver on that same team, who happens to end up being a friend of our family, I didn't realize, that Jones faked a minor injury so he wouldn't get beat up by the hard-hitting Cedar Park defense. So there you have
Dude,
it.
I
We
literally
suspected that for years.
I tried to
and it's
fake an
confirmed by a
injury every
teammate.
day at practice. Trust me. It was terrible being scout team. Oh, my gosh. Cedar Park's defense is legit.
Oh, yeah. Has been ever since. Now, 1 year later in 2011, in a game played at the Gup his senior year, despite being advertised as the go-to guy and the linchpin of the Maroon offense, Jones had only 4 catches. On the first one, a quick swing to the right side. He caught it and was promptly hauled down for a 5-yard loss. On the next one, he caught a pretty strike for 48 yards over the middle, but on his first step after the catch, Zach Espinoza swooped in, reached in, and easily took the ball away from him and ran with it the other way for 25 yards. Jones's last 2 receptions were inconsequential catches on drag routes underneath deep coverage for 3 and 9 yards on the Maroons' last fruitless possession of an evening, during which they were shut out 49-0. 4 catches, all of them meaningless, for 45 yards, 48 of that leading directly to a lost fumble, and no first downs. Oh, and he dropped 2 as well. Somehow, USA Today put Caleb Jones on the All-USA team that year.
Of course.
The Texas Sports Writers Association, of which I am a member, put him on the All-State team. ESPNU had him ranked as the top wide receiver in the nation. But if all the scouts ever saw of Caleb Jones was his performance against Cedar Park, he would have gotten no college football scholarship at all, let alone one at Texas or Arizona, let alone get signed by an NFL team.
Yeah, Caleb Jones, that was all the hype going into that game at my senior year. It was a Thursday night game at House Park, and everybody was excited to see him. And literally the day of the game, they announced that he wasn't going to play. And
now we know why.
Everybody was just laughing in our locker room because we knew. And the biggest hit of that entire game was by our kicker.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, Granger McCullough.
Right in front of the stands.
Tattooed a guy on our sideline.
Hardest hit I've ever seen in high school.
Yeah,
he was the kicker.
We gave him 5 stickers for it. He deserved it.
Next week, our subject on Blue Chipper Blues will be Lake Travis and later TCU running back Varshawn Nixon. And yeah, he didn't do much against Cedar Park either.
God.
All right, time for Josh's segment, The Wonderful World of Willard.
And it is so wonderful that our Longhorns are still undefeated in Big 12 play. Holy cow, what an unbelievable performance. Hook 'em, that's what I'm talking about.
Hook 'em, baby.
And it's like Sam Ellinger, you're waiting for him to mess up, but he's not messing up this year. I think he's got it upstairs, and Coach Herman, they've got a good chemistry, and this offense is Chris Johnson on the outside, little Jordan Humphreys.
He's got those big receivers.
They're
if he keeps
huge.
getting them the ball, the success is unlimited.
And then the defense, that's kind of scary to blow that kind of lead at the end of the game.
Yeah, disappointing if that happens.
But I mean,
But part of the reason for that is they got conservative on offense.
they got super
and
conservative.
stopped doing what I
Yes.
just said, going to those big receivers and getting large chunks of yardage.
So that was, I mean, an overall great game, and you just don't want to ride that one too high because you got Baylor coming up at home. Could be an easy trip-up game, but you'd like to think that the Horns are going to be able to take care of business.
I'm hoping so. Yesterday my vacuum cleaner just stopped working, and my neighbor, he's an OU graduate from a few years back, as a joke, had given me an Oklahoma bumper sticker for my birthday, so I grabbed that thing, slapped it on my vacuum cleaner, and what do you know? Now it sucks.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong on so many levels. But just overall, great performance by the Horns. Excited that their season is going this well.
Yep.
Unfortunate, I will not be at the Krispy Kreme stand at the
That's
Horns
right.
game at DKR, but still.
Where's the wedding? Up in Dallas somewhere, is it?
Brian. They're a bunch of cowboys, so they're doing it in Brian, but
The Aggieplex.
they're a bunch of Aggies too, so it makes.
They
a lot of sense.
haven't. Steve asked, they haven't at the Dixie Chicken?
No, that's where we'll be. We might go there a little bit after. But great performance. Excited for them. My Panthers getting an unbelievable win with a 63-yard field goal to win it.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. I'm not going to lie. We were shopping. I was shopping with my girlfriend at the Domain because, that's what every guy wants to do on NFL Sunday. And literally, I'm just like, checking the scores. I'm like, hey, babe, let's get to be a good game. And I finally convinced her to let me go over to that Shake Shack place. And they had a TV.
They had Red Zone on?
No, they had the game on. They had my game. So
That
I was
game.
able to watch the last 5 minutes of it. And, oh, my goodness, just came down to the wire. Unbelievable performance. So glad the Panthers got that victory, 4-1. And then we got the Redskins next week. They're pissed off after losing to Drew Brees last night, so that's not going to be fun.
Big. They lost big.
Happy for Drew Brees, by the way.
Yeah.
Good guy.
That was
Great guy.
That was a neat moment to watch.
Hate that he's a chap, but good guy.
That's all right. I'll forgive him. That's been years.
So this is an interview I just want to play for you, Brad.
Okay.
And I just want your raw emotion.
All right.
I want it.
Quarterback then.
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like he's not going to get out the pocket. We know Eli's not running. But is it a matter of time that can you still throw it? Yeah, it's been pretty safe. It's been cool catching shallow and trying to take it to the house. But I want to go over the top of somebody.
Now, what would you do if your wide receiver that you just gave a $95 million contract just did an interview with Lil Wayne sitting right next to him and just said that?
Change the channel.
Change the channel.
Yeah.
But what do you do if he's your player and you just signed
I don't
him?
know. I'd have to think about it. I wouldn't want to have a knee-jerk reaction over it, so I'd have to
Neat.
think for a little while.
That's crazy.
A lot about that I don't like, but
I know.
you know,
There's a
we'll
ton.
have to see.
Well, that's pretty much all I got for you. Just happy about the Panthers and the Horns getting them dubs.
Now, I mentioned something during the game Friday night that I'd planned to get back to and never did. Josh, you might remember this. I promised to tell you about a line from Chris Ross about Mike Leach. Remember that during the game?
Yes.
And I forgot about it. We never got back to it. So some background here. During the week, a story surfaced about a misadventure during the 1999 Texas OU game where Leach, who was the O-Cord for the Sooners at the time, cooked up a false play script, first 17 plays of the game for the Sooners, and clandestinely dropped it on the field during warm-ups in a place where the Texas coaches would find it. They did, and since all of that was a lie, their defense was smoked in the first few minutes of the game for a 17-0 Oklahoma lead. They realized it'd been had. They threw that in the trash can and went on to a large margin win anyway. Leach, to this day, is proud of that intentional deception and laughs about it. Seth Luttrell, a Sooner fullback then and the current head coach at North Texas, said recently, they tried to cheat. That's why they fell behind. Now, it's an interesting lack of character there and great irony to pretend that while you were cheating, planning and executing an intentional deception, you can somehow blame the guy who got deceived of wrongdoing. Anyway, that prompted me to recall that our own Chris Ross, a Tech fan himself, even when Leach was there, he said this. You know, those odd situations that come up where sometimes you say, if I was stupid, I'd do this. Mike Leach just says, I'd do this. I thought that was terrific.
That was unbelievable. He's a character.
All right, now we're going to bring in our very special guests tonight, Cedar Park quarterbacks Ryan Fiala and Ryder Hernandez, and along with them, their position coach and offensive coordinator, Nick Rogers. And, Nick, if you'd come over here and sit next to me with this mic, we're just a little bit worried about the feedback from our new venue speaker here. You were on with us before last year, talked with us before.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having us out.
Now, were you offensive coordinator also last year?
Yes, sir. I was.
That seems like a tough job when you got to worry about position coaching and designing and calling plays and all that sort of thing. Is it?
No, I wouldn't say that it's tough. It keeps you more engaged. To me, it's nice having a position in the quarterback position. I think a lot of because there's so much that we ask of them, and the mental part of it. And so there's just natural carryover in that play calling position as well from what we ask those guys to do.
And everybody knows these two names, Fiala and Hernandez, but those aren't the only two quarterbacks you have to mentor and coach because it's all through the program, right? How many do you have overall?
Let's see here. We have 6 to 7 right now throughout. So we try to have at least 2 per grade level. Or 2 per group, so we have 2
team,
on the JV, and then we have 2 minimum on the freshman level as well. So generally 2 to 4 in their freshman year, and then we kind of trim it back to 2 during their sophomore season.
And we know while Ryan had the concussion and was out for a few weeks, you had to have an emergency quarterback, and it turned out to be Carson Neal. How much did you actually work him at quarterback? Just kind of enough to, if there was an emergency, you had to step in?
Yes, sir. We just worked situational things with him in certain packages, so we weren't going to ask him to do the full gamut of what we do. But Carson actually, most people probably don't even know that, he grew up playing quarterback. And he was one of my quarterbacks.
That was going to be my next question.
Yes,
That's
sir.
interesting.
His freshman year with Ryan over there. So we just dipped right back in the bin, and it was he picked it up. He's a natural, and obviously he's a very good athlete. So there's a lot that he can do on the football field with the ball in his hands.
Every year our Cedar Park fan base kind of turns over, and that the seniors graduate out the top end and may take their families and fans with them, and we get influx in from on the bottom end of the program. And so there's a few new people who may not know much about you and your history, and you've given it before on the show last year, but tell people what your background is, where you went to school and high school and college, your athletic background, your coaching voyage that got you to Cedar Park, that sort of thing.
Okay. I'm originally from Wichita Falls, Texas, and I went to Ryder High School. And I actually got the opportunity to play against Coach Ross and Coach Apsek whenever they were at Wichita Falls High School. That was my rival high school. And so I was a baseball and football guy. I played a little baseball in college.
Where'd you go to college?
I played at Tyler Junior College and Richland College, and I ended up graduating from Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls after I was done playing. So
I think that's where Carl graduated.
He did,
right?
Yeah. We're both MSU alums, so we have that in common. In college, I always knew that I wanted to coach, and so I love this area. I'm a big UT fan myself, so I always wanted to get down to Austin. That was my dream. And as soon as I graduated, first opportunity brought me down this way as a middle school coach at Wiley Middle School, which is a feeder into Rouse High School. So I coached there for a season, and then from there got the bump up to Rouse, coached running backs over there for a little bit. And then from there, one of my former high school coaches got the head job in Elgin. And so I went out there with him as quarterbacks coach and eventually offensive coordinator. And then when Carl got this job, he called me and brought me over here to Cedar Park.
So 15, 16, 17, now 18, so this is your 4th season with Cedar Park. And
yes, sir, that's correct.
You got to be in on the big state title run.
Yes, sir.
There, first year.
First season, perfect 16-0. So it was kind of a dream come true season for all of us.
I mean, what a season, too, to have your head coach who'd taken you to a state title and another state title game just kind of up and leave and take a lot of the assistants with him. Carl gets promoted in the job, never having been a head coach before, and he only had 2 guys staying, and he had to hire a whole staff, and you were one of those. And, our expectations were kind of like, well, yeah, do as good as you can. Well, as good as they could was 16-0.
Yeah.
That was an amazing season you guys put together.
Yes, sir. I mean, something that obviously...
With a sophomore quarterback.
Right. Yeah, we faced a little adversity that year, as we seem to always have here in Cedar Park. But like I said, it was a dream come true season, perfect 16-0, and something that all of us will forever remember and cherish.
Now, Coach, where do you get your inspiration from the genius that goes behind play calling? Where do you find your inspiration from past coaches or offenses or whatnot?
Who I originally, as a high school kid, who I really first started following was South Lake Carroll and Todd Dodge.
Oh, wow.
So I fell in love with the spread back then in 2002, 2003 era, and then from there, Mike Leach, who you guys were just talking about. Anybody and everybody from the air raid tree, I have followed.
And that's what we're doing right now, certainly. Yeah.
Absolutely. We try to model them. Who I would say we're the most similar to now is Lincoln Riley. I really follow Lincoln in Oklahoma and what
Love
they're
that
doing.
offense.
I think that guy is a mastermind when it comes to play calling in the NFL. Now there's a lot of the college game trickling up, so I like Sean McVay with the LA Rams, and then even what Andy Reid does, with the Chiefs right now.
Yeah.
So I look everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. If you were to ask our kids, they just think that I steal everything from Madden. But
Yeah.
No, I mean we study all the time. It's a collective effort. It's not at all just me. But I mean, with technology these days, I mean, if you want it, you can find film on almost anybody. So if you want to study them, you can get out there and find it. So there's always new ideas out there, and we're trying to stay on the cutting edge with everything that we do.
All right, thanks. Nick Rogers, our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, joining us here on Timberwolf Mike in America. Timberwolf Mike in America. I was looking at the mic when I said that. All right, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Let me take that, and we'll give that to Ryan. Ryan, our senior quarterback, Ryan Fiala, is going to come in. Started the season as the starter, had a concussion. Back now for the first time in about 4 games against Conley, and had a good couple of possessions. I would have put you at 5. You hit 5 guys in the hands. 1 called back by penalty, 2 were dropped. But it's nice to see you back and throwing and on target again. How's it feel?
Feels great. I mean, those 2 weeks I was out, it really wasn't that fun. Just kind of sitting there watching everybody play the game that I love, and it's good to be out here and playing again.
Now, you were on the show last year with Mac.
Yes.
And it was the 3 days before his season ended, and you stepped in and had to quarterback the rest of the year. So we didn't get a chance to talk to you about that. There's 2 things, 2 kind of emotion-laden moments I want to talk to you about that you've been through since we last talked to you on the show. One is that game when Mac went down. You had to come in, and at first it just wasn't working. The defense wasn't working, offense wasn't working. They run out to from 7-7 tie when he went down to 27-7 at halftime, and then the second half happened, and all sorts of magic happened. To come back with seconds left, a touchdown pass from you, and we win the game with the extra point. What did that feel like? What's going? I know a bunch of stuff going through your head technically about the game and trying to concentrate, but the moment the game was won, what was that like?
Really, I mean, that was probably up to this day one of the craziest games I've ever played, and probably will be one of the craziest games I've ever played in and been a part of. It's just so many emotions from the start. You hear it with everybody else that QB1 goes down. You got to step in, and you just never really think it's going to happen to you. And really, it just didn't really hit me at first. Like yeah, I got to go out and win this game. And obviously a little nervous at first, but got in the locker room at halftime and kind of settled down, talked with everybody, and with the game plan they put in, it was good to finish out with the touchdown. And
did anybody was there any one thing that anybody, coach or player, said to you that night that kind of sticks with you as something that kind of helped you focus and get it done?
I remember Coach Absek said before we went out for the second half, he said, "If you don't believe we can win this game, then stay in the locker room."
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
That is a good line.
Yeah.
And obviously it was effective. You did it.
Yeah.
Dude, doesn't that get you jacked up?
That really does.
Oh.
That really does. And it's so true. If you become a coach, you'll say that to a guy sometime, I'm sure. The other thing I want to talk to you about, and we talked about this before we went on the air. Folks may not know that, but we have the starting right side of the infield here, too. Ryan Hernandez is our second baseman, and Ryan's our first baseman. And they're both excellent baseball players, excellent hitters. And Ryan, our district opener at home last year against Bastrop, you came to the plate in a situation where you're a hero or a goat, and you were the hero, a walk-off jack onto Anderson Mill Road in right field fence that won the game. Tell us about that at-bat, what the pitch was, and what you're feeling when you hit it, what you're feeling when you're around the bases and that sort of thing.
So it's kind of funny. Me and Evan Sparks, our shortstop, that whole day and like when the game started and like throughout the game, we were telling each other like we're gonna hit a walk off this game. Like I don't know what it was. Like I told him I'm hitting a walk off this game, and coming up to the last at bat, tie ball game, I was like, this is a perfect chance. And second pitch got me a good pitch and put a great swing on it. That's probably the farthest ball I've ever hit.
What kind of pitch was it? Just a fastball?
Fastball, high and inside.
High and inside fastball. And, man, I mean, we all kind of knew the moment you hit it. It had that feel and that look that, oh, I mean, I was already yelling on the broadcast. I mean, we knew before you took 5 steps that was over the trees in right field, basically. What a neat moment that was.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right, we're glad to have you back. It's always good for this program to have 2 quarterbacks tearing it up. It just makes it so hard to prepare for other defenses, and we're so glad you're back doing it. Ryan Fiala,
thank you for
our
having me.
senior quarterback. All right, thanks, Ryan. We're going to take another short break here. When we get back, we'll talk with more of our Cedar Park quarterbacks right after this. This is Timberwolf Night in America on KMAX Sports.
On Southern Bistro. It's not Cajun per se, but rather a fusion of Texas and Louisiana. It's more like Cajun and Creole meet familiar Texas ingredients. Try their 3 kinds of jambalaya. Very Cajun and very good. But their top seller is the chicken fried steak. They've also got great pasta dishes, shrimp and crawfish, gourmet burgers served on Hawaiian sweet rolls, and terrific gumbo. Always great ambiance, especially out on the porch. Even more so when Timberwolf Night in America is out on the porch Tuesday nights, the week of home games. That's Mouton Southern Bistro, near the corner of Cypress Creek Road and Lakeline, just behind Sonic. The service department at Toyota of Cedar Park engages the latest equipment and technology to ensure their Toyota certified technicians work quickly and efficiently on your cars, trucks, and SUVs, using genuine OEM parts, of course, and from college graduates and military rebates to service agreements that keep your Toyota running smoothly. Their finance team will provide you with all the information you need. They are excited to be your Toyota dealer here in Cedar Park. That's Toyota of Cedar Park at toyotaofcedarpark.com.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
Socialize with us.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click. It's real easy, man.
On Twitter, at KMAX Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMAX Sports. Just another way KMAX Sports is bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
All right, welcome back. Timberwolf Night in America live from the 613 in Moutons. Josh and Brad bringing you the stuff tonight live from the heart of Cedar Park. We've been talking with Cedar Park quarterbacks. Ryan Fiala went first. We also talked to Coach Nick Rogers. Before we get back to that conversation, a quick look at some other scores in the Austin area. First from our own district, 11-5A, with all teams pretty much playing their second district games except for Georgetown. Cedar Park, of course, crushed Connolly 48-12. We're 4-2 and 2-0, a 4-game winning streak. Cougs 1-5 and 0-2. We got Georgetown next. Rouse fell to Peeville 34-23. Raiders are 2-4 and 0-2. They travel to Manor this week. Pflugerville 3-3 and 1-1. Panthers face their arch rival, Connolly. Hutto pulled away from Georgetown 38-14. Hippos 5-0 and 2-0. And how inequitable does this sound? They have the bye this week. So they get 2 weeks to prepare for Cedar Park. Do not doubt that their whole team will be in the stands of the Gup Friday night watching Cedar Park and Georgetown. Georgetown's 3-2 and 0-1 facing the Timberwolves this week. Hippos are number 6 in the Texas football poll, number 11 in the Associated Press. Manor had the district bye. Mustangs are 2-3 and 1-0. They'll host Rouse this week.
Pretty much those are going to shake out exactly how everybody's expecting. I'm expecting Rouse to take Manor. Is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Is
I
that?
don't know.
I don't know. What's
There's
Coach
the
say
one
on that
game
one?
that could be contentious.
What's Coach say on that one? No?
Maynard's got some
Okay,
athletes.
wow, that was a collective no from everybody. So it's not going to shake out. All right, I'm going against the grain, going with the Raiders.
Any investment advice you need, Josh?
Oh, gosh. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
But no, that's dumb that Hutto gets the bye. Whatever.
Yeah, well, that happens sometimes.
It is.
All right, other scores of interest in the area. Westlake had the week off in preparation for their huge clash with Lake Travis this week. That's inequitable, too. Chaps are 4-1.
Both lose.
Yeah. They play till midnight, and it's a 32-32 tie.
God.
Chaps are 4-1, 3-0 in 25-6A. Lake Travis beat Lehman 64-7 last week. That's how they prepared. Cavs 6-0, 3-0, ranked number 2. Boy, Lehman Lobos lose to Westlake 1 week, 54-0. Then Lake Travis the next 64-7. A net score of 118-7.
Oh, it's hard to strap up the pads the next day for that.
Yeah, no kidding. Vandergrift with a plucky come from behind 27-24 win over Round Rock to get to 6-0 and 3-0. Vipers have already played the best teams in their district. I think there's little chance now that they won't go 10-0 in the regular season.
I'm telling you, I mean, they were pretty decent. I think Cedar Park, we played them again right now. We'd mop the floor with them.
It's a 3-touchdown win.
But
that's not how things go.
That's not how things go. But, I mean, there's some big wins. And getting that win over Cedar Ridge, too, that was a big one for them.
Vista Ridge got their first win of the season. How did Vista Ridge tumble so far? And that was over Leander, 59-41. Rangers 1-5, 1-3 in 13-6A, and the Lions are 1-5 and 0-4. The Glen Grizzlies have now not lost a game in over a month. After starting 0-2, Rob Shenfield's Grizzlies have won 3 straight. They had a bye week. They're 3-2 overall, 2-0 in District 13, 5A D2. Atop the standings there, tied with Bastrop, our old Bastrop. And this week they'll visit 2-3 Cedar Creek. Their clash with Bastrop, potentially for the district title, is the last night of the regular season. I think we know where all the talent in Leander may have been living.
That's awesome that they're having that success right out of the gate, and I think they're going to handle Cedar Creek, too.
I think so. And checking on our former head coaches, now at other locales, Joe Willis, Colleyville Heritage Panthers won last week over Carrollton Creekview, 49-21. They're 3-2 overall, 2-0 in district. They face Denton Ryan this week, one of the best teams in the state. Chris Ross, Red Oak Hawks, and their offensive coordinator, Brad Willard, who pummeled 0-5 Dallas Jefferson last week, 66 less than that.
They got Saturday off.
They will play 5-0 Dallas Kimball Friday night, 2 5-0 teams. That'll be a big game.
That's a big one.
All right, Josh, I got another trivia question for you.
Ooh.
Fans may have seen a neat stat for Sam Ellinger scroll across the screen during the Kansas State game last week. Ellinger is the only quarterback in Texas Longhorn history whose first 4 starts of a season produced at least 200 yards passing and 2 touchdown passes. I'm going to turn that question and that stat towards Cedar Park. This program also has only one quarterback in its history whose first 4 starts of a season saw at least 200 passing yards and 2 scoring throws. Who did that?
Ryder
Hernandez.
Ryder.
Our next guest, his first 4 starts are these last 4 games. In fact, his 4-game total of 1,129 passing yards and 10 passing touchdowns averages to 282 yards and 2.5 touchdown passes per game. Both of those figures better than Ellinger's, in fact. Max Sexton holds the current record for average passing yards in a game as a starting quarterback, and it's 231. Ryder right now is 51 yards ahead of that, if we can keep that efficiency going.
Just keep it rolling, baby.
All right, so our discussion back, and there he is, Ryder Hernandez. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. So we've been saying all year, because I was when I was a sophomore, that you're 15 years old. Is that true? Have you turned 16 yet?
I'm 16, yes, sir.
When was your birthday?
In May.
In May.
Yes, sir.
So you can drive.
Yes, sir.
Darn, that blew away my joke, was that, Ryder Hernandez may not be able to drive yet, except down the field for touchdown.
Oh!
Well, I haven't officially got my license.
Well, okay, so it's still true.
Hey,
True.
but not
True.
more than one person in the car.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's be safe.
Got 10 people in the car with them on the field, yeah. All right, so Ryder, here you are starting for a big-time football powerhouse. Did you always know you were going to be able to do that? Were you always a quarterback in the backyard with Dad?
Yeah, since I was little, I would always be throwing the ball with my dad. I actually started out as a tight end and middle linebacker in my first year at tackle football, and then from there I've just been playing quarterback.
Just develop that hunger for hitting. I like it.
That's right. So at Cedar Park Middle School, then by 7th grade, the start of that, were you
actually
a quarterback already, or
I started out at Vista Ridge, in the Vista Ridge area, and then
what was the middle school that feeds them?
Artie Henry.
Artie Henry, yeah, that's the
Yes,
one right
sir.
next to him, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved to Cedar Park in 8th grade.
Okay. So, and were you a quarterback by that time already?
Yes, sir.
Away from
Yeah.
so it's more in the youth leagues that you were the tight end kind
Yes,
of
sir.
linebacker
Yeah.
guy. So we're glad you moved away from Vista Ridge. They may not be 0-5 if you'd stayed over there. I don't know about that. So you and Ryder teammates. You and Ryder and Ryan are close to the same name. First two letters are the same. In baseball as well. Talk a little bit about that last baseball season. You're a freshman as a starting varsity second baseman. That's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, it was real fun to be out there playing with all these guys. They really were just like, hey, let's just go play ball. It doesn't matter how old anyone is, and just go out there and try and get the win every day.
You and Ryan were both two of the better hitters on the team. You hit from the left side as well, right? Or were
No,
you
sir,
right-handed hitter?
just right-handed. Yeah,
and Ryan was from the left side. So I have no idea how many times there's a grounder headed your way, and you scooped it and gunned him down by throwing to Ryan Fiala. But every time that you did that, I thought, that's our two quarterbacks. It was kind of an weird reality. And then when Sexton was pitching, I was saying, there's our three quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was a really weird reality. What's your favorite thing about being a quarterback?
I guess just handling all the pressure.
Oh, that's great. That's a great answer.
Yeah, because pressure doesn't really get to me a lot, but I like just taking it all on me and then letting all my guys just go out there and play free.
Now, let's describe your first play as a varsity player. It was in the playoffs last year. It was in Waco. It was late in the game. We were behind a team that had beaten us in a state championship game a few years before. And you came in as, I guess, a slot receiver on the left side, and tell us what happened.
Yeah, I just got back there, and I was just like, all right, whatever I do, I just got to complete it to him right now. So
What was the name of the play they called? You guys
I think
remember?
it was Bronco Green Special or something like that.
Philly Special.
Bronco Green Special.
Yeah, so I got it, and then I saw him open, so I just threw it up and was hoping he'd go make a play on it, and then I didn't really see it because I just got killed by their
Oh,
middle
wow.
linebacker.
I was watching the ball. I didn't realize you got killed by
Yeah.
the linebacker after that. Well, it was a touchdown pass, folks. I don't remember how many yards, but it was instrumental in us coming back and winning that game. And played a little bit more in some of the other playoff games, but really got a chance to play this year. Unfortunately, when Ryan had the concussion out in Burnett against Cedar Ridge, you've come in and really lit it up. And we noticed you've got a great amount of pocket presence. You got a great feel for when there's somebody coming on you, and we're thinking, oh, he doesn't see him. Somehow you're seeing him and you're escaping it. How does that work? I know I don't see the eyes over your ears or in the back or anything.
No, yeah, for a while now, my dad and me would just go out into the field and just work on pocket movement everywhere and just the different movements for when defensive guys are coming in. So, I've always just been working on that. It's been one of my good skills.
For being a quarterback, I know that, going into film, I know at Cedar Park you do a lot of film work, and especially as a quarterback, I know y'all are in there all the time. Recognizing coverages in game, is that getting easier for you? Is it slowing down completely for
Yeah,
you?
the first game and then a little bit in the second, it was pretty fast. But now that I've gotten to settle in a little bit and get a good feel for the game, I've really been able to see it better.
The reads you're making are tremendous. We can see your head just moving around, finding the guy who's open. It's really a joy to watch you play quarterback. You've got a really quick release, and I notice it looks a lot like a second baseman.
Yeah.
Whap, the first, and a lot of times you're just whap. Is that something that comes naturally? Is it something you had to work on and develop, or what?
I used to play baseball a lot more than football. I really started to play football a lot when I moved to Texas. But I actually had a bad problem with just side arming everything, so I had to work on quarterback coming over the top more. But I think playing baseball helps me getting the ball out quick too, which helps a lot.
Now we've got you for 3 more years as a baseball player. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We got you for 2 more years after this as a quarterback. It might be early, but have you thought about what you might want to do after high school? Where you're going to school? What kind of major? You think about playing either of those 2 sports?
Yeah, I definitely want to play one of the 2 sports, preferably football right now. And I was thinking business, and I'm not sure. I haven't really decided on what I want to major in yet.
Me neither.
I changed my majors in college. All right, thanks a lot. Ryder Hernandez, currently our starting quarterback, the sophomore of our 2 quarterbacks. Thanks for joining us tonight, Ryder. Thanks so much. And, Josh, before we get going, I've got a rant tonight again. I meant to tell you, you go ahead and develop your rants and deliver them during the wonderful world of Willard.
Cool,
if
I
you
got
'em.
some to go
All right,
off
well,
on.
we'll start doing that. So here's my rant. Mine's a stats thing. If you know me, you know I kind of bury my head in the numbers a lot. I think it's not very bright for football to stat the yardage lost in sacks to the rushing total. It had an effect on our stats this week. And, you know, to tell the whole truth about our 6 yards rushing allowed against Conley, well, it's not really the truth. The yardage gained by the Cougars on plays where they executed their rushing offense was actually 50 yards on 22 called rushing plays, a 2.27 yard per carry average. These are still terrific numbers for Black Rain defense, by the way. But the official rushing total is 6 yards on 28 carries for a 0.2 average. That's inflated or deflated, depending on your point of view. This is a false inflation of the great job the defense did because there were 6 sacks for 44 yards and losses that are charged to the running game. These were not running plays. This was yardage lost when executing their passing offense and should be deducted from their official passing yardage of 242 on 41 attempts, 5.9 yards per attempt. The reality is that they tried to execute their passing offense not 41 times, but 47 times. They only threw the ball 41 times, but those sacks were plays called from the passing pages of their playbook. Their true passing game results were 198 yards on 47 attempts. They attempted to pass on those 6 sacks, just didn't throw the ball. For a yard per attempt figure of 4.2, not 5.9. If I'm a coach, I keep 2 books. One does it all the way all of football seems to want it. The other does it in a way that shows me better what kind of yardage I get, both offense and defense, when I call passing plays or when they do, and what kind of yardage people get when they call rushing plays. They get a much more honest assessment of how well each phase of the game is working. Consider officially, Conley got 242 yards passing and 6 yards rushing. This tells you that your passing game did over 40 times better than your rushing game at generating yardage. But in reality, statting it that way that I just pointed out is really the correct way. They got 198 yards passing and 50 yards rushing. The passing game was just under 4 times more productive than the ground game, not 40 times better. So that's what I would recommend.
And very understandably.
But I don't know. I don't get anybody agreeing with that because football still does it at all levels the other way.
Yeah.
All right. And now our favorite segment of the show. We're going to play one of our trivia games with the guys. We're going to play Texas' largest high school stadiums. And yes, I know that the proper plural for stadium is stadia. I just don't like the word. We're going to basically split up a little bit. We've only got 3 guys here, so we have to figure out a way to do this. Nathan Rish?
Oh, Rish could totally get in on this.
Sure. Rish and the coach. Rish and Rogers will team up together, and then the 2 quarterbacks will go against them.
I threw you
Ryan and Ryder. That's what we'll do. So Ryder, could you and Coach switch places a little bit, and that way we got the
we're not going to make
set
you
up.
move, Rish.
You don't have to move, Rish.
I ain't gonna make
Coach
you
is
move.
coming over there near you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Each team's going to take turns trying to identify the largest Texas high school football stadiums they can think of, measured by seating capacity. So do not name, for example, the Alamo Dome, even though high school games are occasionally played there. We played there several times ourselves. But it's not a purpose-built high school stadium. If you can't think of the proper name for a stadium, that's okay. Just something to identify it, like, you know, the place where Copper's Cove plays or something like that. We can find we can find it just by that. Now, you get points commensurate with that stadium's actual seating capacity. And at the end of 7 exchanges, innings, whatever, we'll see if we have an answer. If we're tied, we can go to extra innings. And here's the deal. If you read in, what's that website that has football? Texas Bob. Got all the football stadiums and capacities. Those are capacities that school districts sent them. For whatever reason, school districts a lot of times have no idea how many people fit in their stadium. They say, oh, it seats about 5,500. And they never really measured it or counted it or anything like that. Sometimes they know and want to say that it's bigger.
So you walked.
Sometimes they know.
Figured it out yourself.
I want to say it's less. I sure did. I spent 2 summers ago for about 2 weeks, a couple hours a day, looking at the overhead on Wikimapia of all the high school stadiums. And I used this formula. 24 inches on these bench seats per butt. And there's a formula. Once you know that, you know you can sit so many people per row per 10 yards. You can easily see that that's from the 10 to the 10. That's 80 yards. Oh, there's 21 rows. 10 to the 10, 21 rows times that 24 inches per seat. And you fairly quickly can get to the actual seating capacity.
All right.
So I did that and made a little database of it. So these are the real numbers not what some school district might say, because I would look up and there's some stadium that seats 10,268, and on the website it says seats 14,000. And it's been the other way. Some stadium seats 8,842, and they say it seats 6,000. So I have no idea why school districts want to be thousands off, either above or below. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be the real one, and y'all going to have to guess it, some of my guess. And we'll go with, let's see.
We got our mic right
We'll
here.
go with, get them. Where did that mic go? Oh, you got it. Yeah, right here. We'll go ahead and try to outfox the feedback if we get any. So, Ryan, you take it, and you guys will go first. The quarterbacks are one team, and team other, our alumni representative and our coach will be the others. So going first will be the quarterbacks, Ryan and Ryder. What do you guys name a purpose-built high school stadium that you think seats a lot of people? We'll see how many points you get for it. A big one.
Yeah.
Think of some big ones. What do you got?
Is like any stadium?
Yeah, any high school stadium.
We're going to go with Legacy Stadium.
Legacy Stadium. Let's see if we can get that one on here. Legacy is on there, 11,560. So let me put that in the point generator. So it's 11,560 nothing after the top of the first inning. Pass the mic to Coach Rogers, and you guys, what do you think on a big high school stadium? Oops.
I don't know the official name of the stadium, but where Allen plays.
Allen, let's see if we can find that one. Yeah, that's
Their
the
new stadium.
big one that they made. Whoops, I put that in the wrong field here. Let me try that again. I just have it as Allen Stadium. 18,105, so that's pretty good. So after one complete inning, they're up by 6,545 points. All right, quarterbacks, what do you got? Another big purpose-built high school stadium somewhere in Texas.
I can't wait till the game's over.
Josh is thinking a while.
Just.
What do you got? You know it's not Burnett High School. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was so small.
Smallest stadium we played in probably a decade and a half. What do you got?
The field.
The Pafield. Ooh. Well, that's pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, I hope I put that one in my database. If not, we'll give it to you anyway.
Oh, you cracked Cone's database?
Here it is. 9,639 for the Pafield. 9,639. Let me put that in the point generator.
Generate, baby.
Okay, so after 2.5 innings, they are up by 3,094 points. Team others.
McKinney ISD.
McKinney
Stadium. I'm not sure the
ISD
exact
Stadium.
name, but
okay, let's see if I
they
can
just
find
built a
that
new one as well.
McKinney. You know, they call it Ron Poe Stadium. Does that sound familiar? Ron Poe. But you know what? If they built a new one, I don't have it. This has got the old one, 6,256. Sorry I screwed you over. We'll give you another guess. Since that's obviously a new stadium I don't have in the database, we're going to give you, Coach, we're going to give you another guess since obviously that's a new stadium. I didn't put it in the database. That's my fault. Think of another one.
Oh, it's not Legacy, but the other stadium that Katie plays at, their former stadium. I don't
what
know
was
the
that?
name.
Oh, yeah. What is it's
That would have to be reasonably large.
what is the name of that? I need to. What is the name of that thing? It's right next to him. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of what it is. Hold on, give me a second to search through here with my eyeballs because I know the basic size of it. I'm hoping I can run across it with my eyeballs. Yeah, give me the old Jeopardy. Yeah, Rhodes Stadium. RHODES. 10,010. Rhodes Stadium. Ooh. Rhodes Stadium.
That's a banger.
10,010. So the score now, coach's team up 6,900 points. So third inning now, Ryder and Ryan.
We're going to take Gupton.
Gupton, not a bad choice.
Not a bad choice ever.
Amongst the bigger ones in the state.
Back in my day, we didn't have a replay screen. All right?
Gupton, 10,608 is how many we can actually fit in there for the Gup. So you are up by 3,600 points at the moment, but you've had one more at-bat. Okay.
A lot of teeter-tottering.
Where Odessa Permian and Odessa High play. I don't know the exact name of that stadium.
Oh, right. And I wish you hadn't said that because I probably could have thought of
Field.
it.
There you go.
Booby Miles.
Friday Night Lights.
Booby Miles Field. That's what they should have done.
That's what they should have called it.
Let's see.
They really missed on that one.
Let me put in Permian. That might find it too. Ratliff Stadium.
There you go.
That's
there
what
it is. Big one. 16,320.
All aluminum, baby. All aluminum.
320. Ratliff Stadium in Odessa. Okay, so top of the fourth, and Ryder and Ryan trailing by 12,628. Need a big one. Need a big one.
No audience help, Mr. Groves.
What do you got? What do you got?
Come on now.
I can smell it burning. I can smell it burning. Big high school stadium. If you can't think of stadiums, think of programs or teams that you know are big time, might have a big stadium. Think of cities. We played in a city that's not too far from here, had one of the bigger ones. You can think of that one.
Dude, deceptively, that one's not that big.
5 seconds. 5 seconds. I'll come up with something. Name a team or somebody.
It does. That one.
Bible Stadium.
Bible Stadium.
Nothing wrong with Bible.
Very good.
Butter.
It's exactly the same because it's the same blueprint. 10,608 is the Gup.
I'm just going to get ahead of it.
All right. To the coach and the alumni. They are leading by 2,020 points, bottom of the fourth.
Where Mesquite ISD, whatever their field is, I know that's one of the larger ones.
See if I can get that one.
Mesquite Skeeters.
Mesquite Skeeters. We played them in Texas Stadium one time in the playoffs. Beat them when they were the defending state champs.
Typical.
Mesquite. Find them. In fact, their Memorial Stadium is the third largest purpose-built high school stadium in Texas. 17,952.
Oh.
What a call.
Is it mercy rule?
That's all there is to it.
Okay, we still got 3 innings to go. Ryder and Ryan. What do you got?
We're going to say the high school, San Angelo Central.
San Angelo Central, right. Let's see. That is a good call because it's a stadium that the city of San Angelo built for both San Angelo Central and Angelo State.
Oh, that works out.
Let's see what we got here. Oh.
Is it Shotwa?
Oh, what is the name of it?
No.
Yeah, it's Abilene.
I'm thinking of Abilene.
I know that one, though, because I recently looked it up. It's 17,000. For some reason, it's not in my database, but it is 17,000 because I recently looked that up for another reason because we're going to be going there next year. So I'm going to give you the 17,000.
Dang. No fact
San
check.
Angelo
He
Central.
gave him the points. I lied.
All right. Still leading by 2,900 points as they go to the plate in the bottom of the fifth. The coach and the alum. What do you got?
I got to go with Shotwell Stadium out in Abilene.
Shotwell. We've played there. All right. It's a good one.
That one.
You shot well on that one. They're the 10th largest.
I might have put a little nugget in your brain by mentioning
13,889.
Rich didn't come up with that.
Up by 16,861. So Ryder Ryan,
Really?
got 2 at-bats left. Got to come up with a couple of big ones.
All right, we're going to go with where Alito plays.
Alito. Yeah.
God, I wish we could have had
Whoops,
that
I
one.
put that in the wrong
back.
place. Let me
Did
go back up
we
here.
lost to them?
We lost once, but we didn't play there. You know, we played them twice at Baylor Stadium.
God.
Oh, this isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't
First
finding them
broadcaster ever
somehow. I
out of
didn't put
McLean.
them in right. Let's see. Oh, come on. Because I've seen that in here. I'm not entering the right thing to find them. Let me give you another guess, because you know what? I think theirs isn't all that big. It's smaller than ours. And I think I must have entered them with an misspelling or something because I was not finding it. But I know it's smaller than Gupton, so I'm going to give you another shot.
Not prepared for that. Only one in the chamber, Brad.
there are other high school stadiums that don't belong to a high school. Owned by an ISD that several schools might play in, and a couple of them are pretty big.
Lone Star Frisco.
Frisco.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, as soon as this is over, I'm going to say one, and y'all are going to hit your head. I'm just saying.
You know, they don't have that great a capacity. It's a big building, but not a great capacity. 8,560.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a big building, but they don't seat a lot of people. All right, sixth inning for the coach and the alum.
We're going to go with Wood Forest Bank Field, Conroe ISD.
Conroe, let's see. Wood Forest National Bank Stadium, the Woodlands, College Park, Conroe, 9,762. Decent seating. Conroe. Oops, I said Canoe. Conroe. All right, final at bat. Quarterback.
Cedar Hills Field.
Cedar Hill. Let's see if we got that. Yes, Longhorn Stadium it's called. Seats 7,327. Cedar Hill. All right, last at bat, just for the heck of it. They're already winning. Coach and the alum. 10,736.
Memorial Stadium, Wichita Falls, Texas. I just want to know what it is.
That's a big one, I think.
I figured as much, but I just want to know the exact.
It is the 8th largest in the state at 14,280. 14,280.
That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
The final 100,318 to 75,302. Here are the big ones. The biggest, some of the biggest ones were guessed. The biggest, which I was hoping you guys would guess, it's 19,440. Alamo Stadium. We played there in a playoff game not too long ago.
What about the stadium we just played at in Houston?
It's only about 300 bigger than the Gup.
Oh.
It just looks nice.
Okay, never mind, guys. Never mind. Not that big of a deal. Never mind.
You guessed Allen Stadium.
Look the part.
18,105. That was Rhodes that we're talking about in Katy.
Sorry, guys.
Legacy they got. Allen Stadium we got 18,105. Mesquite was guessed 17,952. Fort Worth, Farrington Field 17,680. A Fort Worth ISD stadium. I bet they don't get many sellouts. And then we guessed Ratliff. Veterans Memorial Stadium for Pasadena ISD, Pasadena Adobe, a bunch of 15,776. Grande Communications Stadium out there in Midland, where Midland Lee plays. It's a great field. I've seen a game there. 14,756 is the 7th largest. Wichita Falls is 8th. Dick Bivens Stadium, Amarillo ISD, is 9th at 13,923. And Shotwell, another one that we guess, is 13,889. So those are the 10 largest ones. South Lake Carroll Stadium's not all that big. It's like 9,800, something like that. Highland Park, Craig Weems says, is 100,000 because they own Jerry World. Well, we owned it one night. All right, so our final score, 100,000 and change to 75,000 and change. The coach and the alum beat the two quarterbacks. All right, always a lot of fun playing those trivia games. Now, preview of Georgetown. Cedar Park football program has only lost 3 district openers ever, and 2 of those were to Georgetown in 2007, 2008. He remembers that. Those remain the only Georgetown victories over Cedar Park ever. The series record, 9 wins for CP and just those 2 for the Eagles. But there have been some close games. The 2014 game, a state title season or state title run season for us, was 31-28. Last year was 28-27. Both of those games were in the Gup. All of the other wins have been multi-touchdown wipeouts by a cumulative score of 263-99, an average of 36-13. This season, Georgetown 3-2 overall, 0-1 in 11-5A action. They opened the season with a 38-7 win over Abilene Wiley. Then they beat Waco High 17-7, South San Antonio 45-25. And they had an open date and haven't been the same since. 4A Stephenville boiled them and ate them 48-8. Then last week they opened district play with a 38-14 loss to Hutto Hiccups. Their 3 wins are over teams that are 0-5, 1-4, and 2-3, so collectively 3-12. 4A Stephenville is 2-2 against their other opponents. Hutto is far and away the best team they've played. They've given up 111 points in the last 3 games they've played, all losses. We all remember what happened last year. We talked about it a little bit with Ryan. The Eagles scored first to take a 7-0 lead. Max Sexton led a retaliatory touchdown drive, but broke his femur on the tying touchdown run, and his high school career ended. Georgetown then pulled out to a 27-7 halftime lead in the Black Rain defense, and Ryan Fiala teamed up to produce Cedar Park's greatest ever comeback victory, 20 points down to win 28-7. Our greatest comeback didn't turn out into a win, Josh. Remember, we were down 33-0 of a playoff game, came back to take a 36-33 lead, lost in overtime anyway. That's our greatest comeback to a lead, but we didn't end up winning the game. This 20-point comeback to a victory was our biggest comeback to a victory ever. Now, no one in Georgetown's forgotten that, and they'll bring their A game Friday night. Here's Josh with the personnel rundown for the Georgetown Eagles.
Well, they've got a nicely balanced attack this year, averaging 205 yards through the air and 159 on the ground, 365 total yards a game. The senior quarterback, Jackson.
I think it's Sweeson, S-I-O-S-O-N.
Seosin. That's all name list right there. Quarterback Jackson Seosin is 93 for 152, a 61% completion percentage. He's thrown for 1,056 yards and 11.5 yard per attempt average. And he's thrown 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Ooh, the Black Rain. And a 90.5 NFL passer rating. His top receiver is Noah Drum, number 11, with 37 catches, 464 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Senior Dylan Cahill. Oh,
remember
that
him.
name. Oh, he is a good one for them. He's got 19 catches and 221 yards and 2 scores on the season. And junior Corey Coleman, number 15, has 11 catches for 146 yards, and no other receiver has more than 50 yards. On the ground, the Eagles are led by senior Xavier Torres, number 21, with 77 carries for 395 yards and a 5.1 average with 3 touchdowns. Javante Roden, number 8, has 24 carries for 195 yards and an 8.1 average, but no scores. And the quarterback, Jackson Seosin, wow, that's tough to roll off the tongue like that, has run the ball 49 times for 159 yards, a 3.2 average, and 2 touchdowns. No other ball carrier has more than 10 carries or 29 yards. And defensively, their leading tackler is Matt Anderson, number 5. Thank you, Matt Anderson, for having an easy name, with 26 total tackles, 4 for a loss. And this is a defense that has only 8 tackles for a loss all season. The Black Rain getting 6 sacks last week.
Yeah.
And the Black Rain has more than that in every quarter. The Eagles have given up a slew of points, especially to only 2 teams they've played with a winning record, Stephenville and Hutto, who collectively scored 86 on them. This is a defense against which Cedar Park offense has a chance to put up some really big numbers.
And we want to talk to Coach Rogers about that. Coach, what does their defense do well that we'll try to avoid with our play calling, and what do they not do so well that we can maybe take advantage of without giving away any secrets, of course?
They're real big and physical up front. They always are. They're down 3. Are really good at stopping the run. Their gap sound defensively. They're pretty sound in what they do in the secondary as well. They're a bend, don't break defense, so they very much believe in making you earn every yard. Or that they're going to sell out to not giving up the explosive plays vertically downfield, and they're going to make you be patient and dink and dunk down the field and see if you're willing to do that. So I would say that's definitely one of their strengths.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing what you dial up in the offensive game plan to try to take advantage of the Eagles. And Josh, any final remarks before we close down?
Well, definitely excited to tune in because I will be at the wedding.
Yeah.
So I hate that I won't be able to see you guys there.
Well, you'll be at the rehearsal dinner that night. Come on, you won't be tuning in to us.
No, the wedding is actually that day.
Oh, the wedding's that day?
It's
on
Friday.
Maybe you will.
Hey, cheaper venue. Come on now.
All
Get
right.
it on Friday.
Yeah, I got you.
But no, excited to listen to you guys. Y'all have had an amazing season, and y'all keep pushing each other in practice. Y'all compete for that job every single week and push each other and be ready at every moment. Because, like you know from last year, there is no telling when that time comes. And then you seize that opportunity, too, and then you just keep rolling, brother. Just keep rolling and keep those feet moving and keep those eyes downfield. It's so fun to watch. It is truly fun to watch these guys.
Remember, we're always one quarterback run into the line from next man up. So
Right.
Got to be ready. All right, that's it tonight from Moutons. We'll be back next week, next Tuesday night at 7:30 Central Time, live from across the street over there at Majores. Joining us will be the D-line and one of our greatest ever lifetime Timberwolves, former Florida State Seminole, Holmes Onwukafe. Do not miss that one. All right, we'd like to thank our guests tonight, the Cedar Park quarterbacks Ryan Fiala, Ryder Hernandez, and Coach Nick Rogers. This year's sponsors, Family Emergency Room, U.S. Money Reserve, Danny's Barbershop, Coalfire, Mouton Southern Bistro, Majores, Toyota of Cedar Park, Jeff Beats Allstate, The Grass Patch, Owlsers Barbecue, Parker Electric, SRK Financial Group, Army Ant Moving, Bush's Chicken, Rudy's Barbecue, and the Law Office of Travis Williamson. My great thanks to my broadcast partner for Timberwolf football these last 7+ years for all the work he does, Josh Willard, and to our QA tonight, Les Clary. Chuck Licata will join us for play-by-play Friday night at the GUP on KMAX Sports Live, worldwide broadcast of Game 7 of the 2018 campaign. Game 3 of the district race as the Timberwolves face off against the Georgetown Eagles. Timberwolf Night in America is a presentation of KMAX Sports and the Vype Network.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.